Hello everybody. Been having a heck of a time getting our streams going well today, and so I'm optimistic that I have finally solved all of the problems. Let's go post the link on the website. Website is jollyrogerukulele.com and jollyrogerukulele.com. From there you'll get the sheet music and our daily schedule for the introduction to ukulele class, along with the more advanced class, which is what you're sitting in on, and then of course information on joining the Monday Night Orchestra is also there, and how to teach ukulele and blah blah blah. So all that stuff's on there. And let me make sure that the link is working, and then we'll just get everybody in here and sat down, and off we will go. Click. Phoenix Rising Day 2. Phoenix Rising, I'm using that term this week advisedly. We are in the process of just cleaning up Book 2 on the site. This week is sort of just a conglomeration of a little bit of everything. We normally do Tin Pan Alley Tuesday, and we do have a Tin Pan Alley tune in America the Beautiful, but we're also digging into a revised version of the arpeggios, so we'll be working on those. Let me close this out, and here we are. Kay is in. Good morning, Kay. Sandy is in from Upper Michigan. Kay is in from northern Colorado. Cindy's in from northern Denver. Diane, better afternoon, sound is normal. Yeah, this morning, well, yesterday, it says, you have a new version of Windows you need to install. And I'm like, okay, sure. And I know on Macintosh when that happens that pretty much nothing's going to work after that. And it's been a while since I did an upgrade on a Microsoft product. And sure enough, nothing works after that. And this morning we had problems getting the broadcast going at all, and then we had problems with the sound, and so all of the software had to be reset and tested and blah blah blah. So this morning was a bit of, and after a pretty crummy week to begin with, to having one more thing to deal with is just a bit disheartening. But we finally, I think we're all back together, at least for the next hour or so. And Diane had to be it turns out in harmonica, if you're out of tune, you really know it, and so it's a little different than ukulele or guitar, but there we go. Who else made it in today? Ronnie is here, 58 degrees in New Mexico. Hey Terry, good to see you, buddy. Vic, the sound is working finally. Linda, thought I was late. You were right on time, Linda. The other Linda, Northern California. I just had my second vaccine, so Linda in Northern California is about to need a nap. Hi, Carol. Good to see you. Michelle in from Rockaway Beach, sunny Rockaway Beach up there in Oregon. Glad you're here, Michelle. Dennis is in from Toronto. Terry, ukulele is a thing. We're here. And yeah, we need a lot of ukulele right now. Let's stay focused in on just getting it. We're going to dig into these arpeggios today. Barbara's here. Kat's here. Red, greetings and salutations, Red. Let's applaud Red's arrival. And Linda in from Colorado, or Linda in from Hawaii. And so, guys, I want to just get focused in here on our arpeggios today, and then technically, it turns out America the Beautiful. I've been planning on doing that just to clean up some of these tunes on the website. America the Beautiful was written in 1910, right dead square in the middle of Tin Pan Alley. So it matches our Tin Pan Alley Tuesday stuff. So let's go grab the Jumping Flea Arpeggiator ukulele version in E minor, and let's talk about what's awesome about this and what is hopefully going to give you a little bit of a challenge. And thank you all for being here. Nancy, so sorry for the trouble. Yeah, it's been a bad day, bad week here. Elizabeth made it in. Cindy is here. Jacqueline, Pauline. Yeah, Pauline. Sorry about this morning. Anyway, all right. So we'll focus in on playing the E minor And as a lot of you guys know, part of the reason we started this was just to have something to do during the pandemic. It's been a full year, and some of you were with me on day one, and we're all still here. This is not designed to solve the world's problems. It's just designed to give us a moment to focus in on something different. And so that's what we've been doing. Make you a better ukulele player, hopefully. Give you a way to make music differently than the way you've done it in the past, or maybe a way that you do it that you've never done it in the past. So let's dive into E minor. E minor. Remember, I like to talk about music theory a little bit. E minor. If you're in E minor, you're likely to find, you skip F, G, likely to find an A minor in there, and you're likely to find a B or B7 in there, and you may also find C's and D's that go along. When you're in the minors, you often will find 6s and 7s as well. And in this case, and in this song, boy, it couldn't possibly be any more predictable. There is a couple of unique things about it, though, and so let's talk about the chord shapes. And baritone players, you guys are paying attention when we talk about this. And oh, hey, Christine, snowing in Bozeman. Yeah, Christine tried to come to harmonica class. It turns out that we were all in different key. I was in one key and everybody else was in a different key. It did not work very well. Hey, Laurel. E minor. I don't know why when I started, this shape was super challenging for me, but I love E minor on ukulele. I think it sounds really nice. You're gonna have a C chord. Baritones, it's a G chord. And by the way, baritones, that's your B minor shape. Okay. You're gonna have your G chord or D for D for baritones, and then D chord, A for baritones. Okay. When you get to measure 9, we usually do D7 with these two fingers, but in this case, since you got a D chord preceding it, just lift your middle finger up. That's the least amount of work you can do. Now, I want to talk about chord progressions. That's something that we don't talk about a lot, and it is definitely for those of you guys who are enjoying music and you're like, maybe I'll write a song today. One of the things is you start messing around with chord progressions, and remember way back on day 1, or I'm sorry, day 2 in ukulele, I teach you this chord progression. Duke, 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 Duke of Earl, Duke, Duke, Duke of Earl, Duke, Duke, Duke of Earl, Duke, Duke. Right, I teach you that chord progression. It's a I call it the 1950s chord progression. They put goofy names on these chord progressions. But as you're getting ready to write your first song, which, most of you guys want to complain about your boyfriends, you would pick a set of chords that work together, and so you start coming up with chord progressions. This chord progression works. Okay, years ago when I was doing a ton of writing, this was listed on the internet as the sensitive female chord progression, and Alanis Morissette was the poster child of this chord progression. But think about what's going on here: E minor, then to C, over to G, and to D, to D7, and then back to E minor. It sounds like a song, right? Done. It sounds like something that something important is happening in that piece of music. And so that's the chord progression that's sitting here in front of you. And this works in all of the other keys as well. You could do A minor. Let's use your ukulele minor keys that are pretty easy. A minor, B minor is kind of a bummer. C minor is not too bad. D minor is beautiful. E minor, right in front of you. F minor and F sharp minor are also possible keys for you. And then, of course, G minor is another one of these. So you take those as your main key, and then, of course, you have to transpose all the other chords to go along with it. In this case, E, F, G, A, B, C, right? So E's, C is 6, right? Right? E, F, G, A, B. C is 6. G is A, F, G. G is your third there. And then D is over here. E, F, G, A, B. and there's no A minor, but A minor is going to show up down below in measure 14. So you could take these chords and transpose them into different keys based on their placement on your fingers, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, there we go. I can write songs in all of the keys, and that's one of the things we're working on in ukulele with these arpeggios, is playing them in all the keys so that you're like, yeah, I played in that key before. Let's see. Pele made it in. Hey, Pele. Pele is with me quite a bit today. Valerie, you went straight to Duke of Earl. You knew I'd remind you. Yeah, Valerie, you are officially the Duke of Earl advocate for that song, for that chord progression. So we got those chords. Right now you're paying no attention to me because you're busy trying to play the song. And so let's talk about playing the song. Okay, you're in 3/4. Okay, which is 1, 2, 3. But measure 1, you see the first note is a dotted quarter, so it's longer, followed by a short note, which is the 8th note, right? It's got the flag on the top, and a quarter note, so it's okay, bum 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 bum, and that's it's not correct to call this swing time, but it comes from that idea where you're gonna have long, short, normal, long, short. The long and the short will continue to show up as you are playing in music, certainly through your intermediate level, where you are talking about a dotted 8th note followed by a 16th note. In this case, it's a dotted quarter note followed by an 8th note. That long and then something following it up short is very, very common in music. You'll see it all over the place. And so, hey, Arlo, you know, kind of get used to paying attention. When you see a dotted quarter, a dotted anything, look right after that. Pretty good chance you're going to see a shorter note. And if you don't see that, then you've got to really knuckle down and study the piece of music to figure out what's going on. So let's just play this first section here real quick, because things get different in the second section. So grab your E minor, long, short, normal. Okay? And baritone players, it doesn't matter again what's going on in the melody. You're giving us three strums of E minor, 3 strums of C, and so on. 1, 2, 3. Back to the top. Messed up. I changed this. Those of you with the old book, measure 11 used to have just this, but I switched it to the other D7. It's another learning opportunity. Your open D7 is just these 2 fingers. Your fancy D7, the good D7, is a bar on 2 with this. Okay, so it's going to create a different feeling of that D7. So when you come in from like measure 7. Bum, bum, bum. That tells you something has got to get resolved, and then you go to your E minor. Now, we talk in the first 8 measures about longs and shorts. We have a tendency to make that first note, because it's in 3/4 time, we want to make that note a little bit louder than the other things that happen in that. Boom, pa, 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 pa. Well, when you get to measure 12, it's official. That's exactly what we're going to work on. But now the notes don't change distance between each other. They're all quarter notes. And now you see the little caret in measure 12 above that first chord. You're going to grab that E minor. And we've done these before. Those carets mean play this one louder than the other ones around it. Okay. And when you're playing like that, on ukulele, we don't do it nearly enough, partly because of the instrument's capabilities, but it is something that we like to think about as musicians, and you should especially as a solo player, When are you going to make notes louder? When are you going to make them quieter? When are you going to make them a little longer? When are you going to make them a little shorter? When are you going to put a little extra love into a chord, or a little bit staccato playing? Those kind of details are very important as you become a more advanced musician. In this case, if I'm playing that first section, bum, 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 I might make that first note a little bit louder than the other two, but not a lot. But when I get to measure 12, I'm gonna hammer that first note. Okay, so there's that. Okay, that's what those carrots are about. Loud, soft, soft, loud, soft, soft. You get no other overall indication of how loud to be playing that song, but when you see those, that's definitely got to be louder than its buddies. Okay, that's what those carrots are for. Couple of thoughts on chords here. Your E minor, we've already talked about. Now you're going to go to A minor 6. That's this guy here. I used to just call it A minor, and the chord people on the internet went bananas. So there's people who don't have enough to do with their lives, so they're worried that that's not really an A minor. It's an A minor 6. And you're like, okay, you get enough. Well, let me fly to wherever you live, and go to your mom's house and go in the basement, and I will give you a little prize. So I'm now officially calling it an A minor 6. The 6 is a G sound, and that's what's happening with this opening string. Okay, and so that's this shape. It's your G minor shape moved up to 3. It turns it into an A minor 6. Measure 16, you have your bar chord C. Measure 18, don't pick it up, slide it back. Patricia, making it in. And then when you get to 20, again, don't rethink things, just lift up this index finger. It's covering both of the 2, so just lift it up. Okay. Okay, so you're going to be bum, 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 or bum, 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 bum. Now you got a fermata over the 2. Thank goodness. This is Gary being telling you quite clearly, all right, we have a new thing that's going to be happening in the next measure. I need a minute to think. That's what my fermata. Usually when you see something I've written and there's a fermata there, it's like, oh god, the next measure something is going to have to. I'm going to have to get my brain into a different place. I want to put a fermata there, cause drama, and then it'll give me a minute to think. Important, not super important, but normally here's your A7. If I slide it up to 2, it becomes a B7. And that's your B7. But you also have a B7 here that's sitting right above your E minor. It's a little bit different flavor of a B7, but it's still a pure B7. Okay. I like this B7 a lot because you got a low tone here instead of the high tone. B7. Here's a low tone B7. Both B7s, both interesting in their way, but this one's really nice. And here's a gift to all ukulele players. Those of you guys who know James Hill, he and I had a long conversation one day hanging out in the lobby of Swallow Hill. And he says, yeah, I'm working on a book called with chord pairs, and some of you guys ended up buying that book. But this is one of the great chord pairs that ukulele gives you. Your E minor and your B7 is same shape, just strings right above it. Cocaine Bill and morphine sewer skipping down Fifth Avenue, singing honey have a on me, honey have a on me. Okay, so that's a really lovely chord pair. E minor and B7 with the open bottom on it. It's just brilliant. Okay, all right, E minor. Keep going. That was a bit of a detour. Measure 22. Many things to look at there. One, you're switching to 4/4 time. So those of you, when you get ready to strum this, pay attention. You're busy 3 strumming. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you're like, oh geez, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you've got to change your strumming there to accommodate the 4/4. Next thing that happens at 22, it says quarter note equals 100. You're like, oh shoot, what is that? I don't. What were we at? Oh, we were at 140. So I'm supposed to slow down. I was at 140. Slow down through that section. Patricia and Fran are finally rolling in. Okay. The other thing it says there is rubato. Rubato means don't take it too serious, right? Let the music be a little freer here. And so you're busy coming in. Bum, 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 ba-dum. Bing, 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 strum, right? So let yourself become a little bit of a schmarmy musician here, because rubato means don't take the tempo overly seriously. Let each of the notes do whatever job you think they need to do. Also pay attention in that section there, starting at 22, that you're going to be hitting a chord on beat 3, which is unusual, and you're going to have to be a little bit on top of that. And then when we get over to page 2, measure 30, you're going to see the tempo goes back up to 140. We will never play it that fast online here, by the way. You should be working toward those tempos at your house, but online we won't do that. Measure 30, boy, that starts to look like just a plain old regular arpeggio, right? E minor, C, G, D, D7, and so that's a plain old regular arpeggio through that section. 35, notice the eighth notes start to sneak in. Bum, ba-da, ba-da, bum, bum, ba-da, ba-da, bum, bum, ba-da, ba-da, da. Right? So you got to pay attention to those eighth notes that roll through there. Also pay attention at measure 44. You got another repeat. So we've done one repeat at the top of this page. That repeat at 44 takes you back to 22. So you're going to replay that middle of that song twice. And then when you come into the end, bum, 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 ba-da, da, bing. Okay, only 7 in the entire piece is that last note. When you hit that high note, that's an E hanging out right there on 7. Okay, that's how we're going to wrap this up. Make sure you hit that one clean and pretty, and make it really beautiful. All right, let's play it through. Lots of things to think about. Lots of musical things happening here. And again, I told you guys many times I wrote this to teach myself how to play ukulele. About this spot, about here, you could tell, well, he's getting pretty good at this, right? Getting a little more complex ideas in here. Oh, when you look at the key of C, where I was just trying to get my notes on there correctly, right now I'm playing okay. You know, I'm starting to mess around with rhythm, mess around with volume, mess around with tempo, and mess around with timing. You know, instead of going from 3/4 to 4/4 and back, getting super sophisticated. Like, oh my gosh, this guy is really turning into a fine composer. Okay. Let's do it exactly as written so we can grab all of the repeats, and then the baritones we may not do all the repeats, but let's give it a try. Just as written, and not 140. 140 is really pretty snappy. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Go. sorry. What am I doing? Back to 10. Or 22. Back to 22. What did I say 10 for? 22. Isn't that a dramatic piece of music, right? A little bit of everything in there, and you're just, you know, whoa, drama, 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 drama. Let's see. Laurel is asking, is there some kind of a printable learning aid that shows common other chord diagrams for those typically learned as a beginner? I need help with that. So, how do I answer that? No, there isn't. I would say, generally speaking, that the stuff that we do here in this stuff, you know what we need to do, Laurel, and it's not a bad idea for us to spend. Maybe we'll do a class on that. These bar shapes. There's only 10 shapes for all your majors, all your minors, all your sevenths, and all your diminished. And there's only 10 shapes on the ukulele. And what you're really asking is, hey, here's a C chord. Where else on here will I find a C chord? Well, you won't find this C chord again until way up here, right? But if you pick a different shape, let's say I wanted to use an A shape, and I just start going up the fretboard. A, B flat, B, C. Oh, there's that C. So that's one way to do it, is to do that bar chord worksheet that I handed. I don't know if I've handed it out here at all, but I've had it out last summer, and in a lot of in-person classes. Maybe we should do a little bit of a workshop on that. That teaches you where your other chords are in various shapes on the fretboard. What you're really talking about is, hey man, all these bar chords. Where am I going to find a new chord shape? And I think all of us have a little bit to do with that. I have finally memorized almost everything that I think I'll ever need to know on ukulele. But when I get to baritone, I have the same problem. Like, oh shoot, where's the G minor on the up the neck? And so it takes a little bit of thinking to do that. Cindy is recommending a book by Roy. I don't know that book, but it might work for you. The other thing is the app, right? Using your app, say, all right, I need a C chord. Where on the app does it recommend I do it? And then, of course, the other way is play a lot of Gary's arrangements, because that C chord is showing up all of the time. This C chord, that will show up a lot as well. And so I think it's a process of learning patterns and getting comfortable with the fact that they are going to move up the neck with your finger, and so I think those are probably the only ways I know to learn those. I wouldn't stress out too overly much about that, though, Laurel. Certainly on the sheet music we do around here, you're always going to have it sitting in the tablature, and eventually you're going to be like, oh yeah, that's that C chord again. You know, the fact that B flat, when you first started, you're like, oh god, I'll never get it. And then you come here, and immediately I'm showing you this B flat, and you're like, well, I'd rather play that B flat. So, yeah, so lots of other choices. Kay says, always have the bar chord sheet sitting next to me. So Kay's found that bar chord worksheet to be particularly helpful. Sakuma called Treasury of Ukulele Chords, lots of up the neck chords. He hasn't done anything for baritone though. Yeah, and be mindful, guys. Cindy's recommendation there isn't a bad. I don't know if it's a bad one or a good one. I don't know the book she's talking about, but back in the day, we had a book called The Ultimate Guitar Chord Finder, and there were 40,000 guitar chords in there. Well, guess how many you need to know? 10 or 12? You know, I mean, honestly, those types of resources are good as reference, but not as something you sit down and memorize. And so just be mindful of that. Linda also, she's into that. She's the book by Roy is another book. She's doing that. For All Chord Shapes, the Ukulele Breakthrough by Calvin Chin. Okay, there you go. And then there's a third boy, Roy Sakuma, recommended by the top ukulele players and teachers too. There you go. There you go. So there's your. It looks like you got 3 people saying, "Hey, get Roy Sakuma's book." There you go. Okay, we played this. Let's go grab the baritone version of it. How are we doing on time? You can tell I'm purposely putting off America. All right. Baritones, we are in B minor. And ukulele players, you are going to be having the following shapes. B minor is your A minor on the 2nd fret. Okay, you know your G, you know your D, you know your A, you know your A7. Okay, and E minor 6 on ukulele. The easiest way is just, you know how you got your D7 here, just drop it down and you'll get an E minor 6th-ish there. It'll be close enough. Linda says, I spent some time last night trying to figure out beyond the C. With the exception of measures 24 through 28, every chord can be formed by barring the 4th fret and adding C, F, E7, G, etc. shapes. I want you to take a moment, look over the chat bar, and look at Linda's comment. I spent some time last night trying to figure out beyond the C. With the exception of 4 measures, everything can be played with a fret, with a bar on 4 with different shapes in front of it. Guys, that's how your instrument works. It's true on guitar, and it is true on ukulele, and it is true on baritone, and it is probably true on every fretted instrument. Once you get comfy with your bar, it's just shapes in front of that bar, and everything is the same. So it doesn't matter. That way, wherever you are on the fretboard, you can make it happen. That's why I don't let you use a capo, because it limits you. If you know how to make a bar, you just put shapes in front of it, and all chords are then suddenly available to you. Yeah, movable chords. We've been talking about it all along. Movable chords. F. Well, on ukulele or baritone. C. C sharp, D, D sharp, E. E sharp, F, F sharp, G. They're all there. They're just all waiting for you. Okay. In order to make that make sense, you have to have the piano keyboard memorized, and then all of that's just more of the same. And all of the shapes are the same. Well, maybe next week I'll hand out the bar chord worksheet, and we can just talk about that, because I do think bar chords and movable shapes and chord inversions are all the same thing. So just be clear on that. Don't let musicians confuse you. B minor. You ready to play? Let's play a song. 1, 2, 3. 22. When you have a high note like that, but it's all by itself, give it a little wiggle. Get some vibrato going through there. You'll end up with a nice song. Beautiful. So those will replay on Friday. A lot of music in that was 2 pieces of paper. So hopefully you're spending a little bit of time studying that. That's get to be pretty high level musicianship there. Let's go grab America the Beautiful, the baritone version first, please. Since it's on my body at the moment. Let's see. Friend, I used the legendary bar chord global solution. There you go. Nice, Fran. Legendary bar chord global solution. Is that from me? Did I give you that? That sounds like a title I'd come up with. The legendary bar chord global solution. Who wrote? That's funny. Who did that? America the Beautiful, 1910. It's a Tin Pan Alley song. I'm a little jaded on songs about America, so I will try to approach this with a positive attitude. First of all, we're going to be dealing with the G chord. Baritone players right here. Ukulele players, you know what your G chord looks like. Your D chord baritone players. Okay. You got an A minor here in measure 3. And then a D7. That's fine for ukulele players. Then G chord, D chord, E, we have an E7 in here, which for baritone you're here, and for ukulele you're there. Yes, that's yours. Okay. Anytime you see something with a really stupid title on it, you're like, did I do that? Baritone's A chord is here. Ukulele player, your A chord is there. Have we done A minor yet? We did A minor, D7, G minor, D7, D7. G7 shows up at the bottom there. That's that one. And C chord, of course. Diminished shape. Remember, guys, if your diminished shape isn't right, slide it up 1 or slide it back 1. And you're going to find the right. There's only one diminished shape. And we've talked about it before, but I think it's always funny to do it. Here's your diminished shape on 1. Slide it up to 2. Slide it up to 3. Slide it up to 4. Slide it up to 5. Tremolo. And then the hero comes in, saves the girl from the railroad track. It goes by, and then the guy with the mustache and the top hat goes to jail. All right, so that's what diminished shapes are for. Let's play this. Grab your chords, grab your melody if you'd rather, and grab your tuff uke if you can, and let's play through it. How are we doing on time? We'll play through it one time, then we'll play through it the ukulele version, and then we'll call it a day. From the top, 1, 2, 3. Important. When you're in that shape, G chord with your pinky up there, just slide back to the 1 and 4, and slide right back up to slide your pinky up to 5, a little bit of a reach, and then slide slide straight up to 4 and 7. Lose your pinky, A chord. D minor. Right there. Okay, and on Friday we'll play it through twice, but Americana songs were really popular in the teens and 20s. Fits right into that Tin Pan. It doesn't have the Tin Pan Alley aspect to it, right? We usually like the silly ones with a little bit of a love affair going on in them. But yeah, it fits right into that Tin Pan Alley time where they were looking for beautiful melodies, and especially stuff that were pro-America type stuff. Yeah, well, they did a lot of songs about the states, and you see all kinds of Hawaii songs coming out of New York. All right, let's play the ukulele version of that, and then we'll call it a day. America, the beautiful ukulele. Legendary bar chord global solution. Stupid. One time through, this fits onto one page. Let's see what we can do. Computer's yelling at me. 1, 2, 3. Okay, lovely little tune. Gotta work tomorrow, so I won't be able to play Aloha with you. What? Aloha, Pele. We're not allowed to play Aloha Oi without you, Pele. It's against the law. All right, guys. Hopefully that went okay for you today. Lots of music to think about. I had forgotten about that. Either we've never done it on the online, or we haven't done it in a while, the bar chords thing, and so it's not a bad idea for us to spend. I'll try to figure out where to work that in the next week or so, where we can talk about chords up the neck, because there's only 10 chords, guys. There's only 10, and everything, unless it's got a 6 or a 9 or a 13 after it. But of the majors, minors, the sevenths, and diminished, there's only 10 chords. So, and that's for every key. And once you kind of get comfy with bar chords, again, it's all about this finger, right? Getting that comfortable going up and down the neck, and you'll be fine. All right. Have a wonderful day. That's it. I'll see all of you tomorrow. Tomorrow we're working on, I don't know what. Tomorrow is French Day. So we're going to do A vous diriger maman and Au clair de la lune. We'll make them as fancy as I can today. We'll fancy them up a little bit because you guys are, advanced players. So we'll fancy them up a little bit. I did rearrange the front page of the website a tiny bit. I put, I don't think it should affect you overly. But you guys are on top now, and the foundations class is right underneath that. And apologize for missing last night for orchestra, but we'll do extra good next Monday, and I will see all of you tomorrow. Have a great afternoon. Sandy, good to see you. Barbara, thank you. Michelle, lots to work. Yeah, lots to work on, right? that's good. Ronnie, have a blessed day as well. Pauline, lot to think about. Yeah, keep your brain working. Yeah, that's what we're here for. Jacqueline, thank you for being here. Elizabeth, thanks. The more we do bar chord sheets, the more we do the bar chord sheets, the better, right? All right, maybe we'll work that in as a weekly task. Yeah, that'll be fun. Diane, thank you, Diane. Yeah, Diane and I had a rough day today. So, all right, I will see all of you guys tomorrow.